Welcome to Fantasy Audiobook, Soul Society. Check-in from Rukongai at the start. Chapter 1 Traveling to Rukongai, I have no spiritual power. In a quaint wooden house, Lu Yu sat cross-legged on the tatami, looking at himself in the water basin. Among them, a handsome young man with a face like a crown jade and a star-shaped eyebrow is reflected. This can't be said to be very similar to him in the previous life, only the same. That's right, it's me. Big white Byakuya Kuchiki is known as Little Lu Yu. That's right, it looks like a certain island country in the Edo period, but it's actually the world of Shinigami. Lu Yu in his previous life was just an ordinary office worker from Blue Star. After brushing Miss Sister last night, he fell asleep happily. Just closing and opening his eyes like this, Lu Yu somehow became a Rukongai resident, still the kind without spiritual power. The two have the same name, both called Lu Yu, and they look similar in age and appearance. But in fact, the original body has lived in this area, run Junrinin, for a whole 100 years. The whole of the Shinigami world is the soul of the real world. If there is a soul with spiritual power, it will be similar to a living person in the Soul Society, and will also grow old, sick and die, and can become a Shinigami through practice. A person without spiritual power like Lu Yu will not grow old and will not be hungry. He can live by drinking water. After living for about 100 years, he will naturally turn into a spiritual child and be reincarnated. Soul Society Rukongai is truly a poor man's paradise. The original body's consciousness and spirit body dissipated naturally, but at the moment of dissipation, Blue Star's Lu Yu's soul penetrated into this spirit body. Because he has no spiritual power, he will never be able to become a Shinigami, and he can only be trapped in Rukongai for the rest of his life and cannot get close to Seraiti. Looking at himself in the water basin, Lu Yu stretched out his hand and scratched his face. The nest, it really hurts, it's really interesting to squeeze. In his previous life, he was still very familiar with the Shinigami animation. Thinking of the cool and gorgeous fighting style and all kinds of Zanpakuto, Lu Yu only hated that he didn't have a mobile phone. Otherwise, definitely post immediately for help. Online waiting, very urgent. Excuse me, what should I do if I come to a world where gods fight and pretend like the wind, without spiritual power? Before crossing, there is no spiritual power, no Zanpakuto, no pretending. After crossing, there is still no spiritual power, no Zanpakuto, no pretending. Then am I not crossing over in vain? Why, look at the two big guys next door, and then look at yourself. The gap between people is sometimes really bigger than the gap between people and dogs. Just as he was complaining fiercely, a familiar crisp voice came over. Brother Lu Yu, it's not good, it's not good. Grandma Hitsugaya fainted. Come on. One of the big guys has stumbled in. The person who came was Hinamori Momo, who had just been admitted to Seraiti for a few months, and was also a friend of the predecessor. At this time, Hinamori Momo is not the bun head at the beginning of the plot, but a beautiful girl with a peach face and two ponytails. With a petite body, big brown eyes like jewels and a delicate face, she looks very kawaii. Xiao Dao, what's the matter? Speak slowly. Lu Yu's surface was as steady as an old dog, but deep down he was still a little flustered. Although his predecessor was young, he looked like a 20-year-old boy, but he was an apprentice in a medical school before his death. After his death, he became the doctor of Junrinin in West Rukongai Run. Usually, the neighbors asked him for help when they had any headaches. 100 years of accumulation can also be regarded as an old Chinese medicine. It's just that memory is memory. Lu Yu has never started to practice, and he is still a little panicked. When Lu Yu and Hinamori Momo hurried to Hitsugaya's house next door, the old man who had fainted had woken up and was lying on the bed. It's said that I'm fine, I'm just tired, it's really useless when people are old. The old grandmother tried to stand up from the bed several times, but was stopped by Hitsugaya Toshiro, a little boy with silver hair and green eyes. Brother Lu Yu, look at grandma. Hitsugaya Toshiro, who was concerned and anxious, grabbed Lu Yu's sleeve as soon as he saw Lu Yu, as if he saw a savior. Don't worry, I'll show the old man first. When Lu Yu took the old man's pulse, he keenly noticed a faint chill in the surrounding air. The entire western district of Rukongai can be said to be like spring all year round, and this kind of coldness is very wrong. It's just that Lu Yu didn't have time to pay attention to this for the time being. Fortunately, the experience and skills in his memory are true. After some diagnosis and treatment, he determined the cause of the old man. Lu Yu first comforted Hinamori Momo and Hitsugaya Toshiro, who were staring at him. It's nothing major, just tired, just take a little more rest. As he spoke, he covered the old man with a quilt. Under the persuasion of the three, the old man finally lay down and slowly fell asleep. Is Grandma really okay? The three of them came to the yard, and Hitsugaya Toshiro asked worriedly. Grandma's face was terrifyingly pale just now, and it didn't look like ordinary fatigue. After hearing Hitsugaya's words, Hinamori Momo also became nervous. Thinking that there is Kaido that can be cured in Junyang Academy of Spiritual Arts, she decides to study Kido well in the future, and like Lu Yu to heal the sick and save people. Looking at the two young friends who wrote their worries on their faces, Lu Yu comforted. It's really not a big problem. It may be because of the high concentration of spiritual energy in the ice system, which has been affected. The old man's physique is weak, so he can't stand it. As long as he warms up in time, there should be no problem. My advice is to drink more hot water. As an old Chinese medicine practitioner, he also made very pertinent suggestions. Combining the plot and the results of the diagnosis and treatment just now, plus feeling the icy breath, Lu Yu knew that the plug-in of this genius boy in front of him had arrived. This little boy who looks a bit stinky, I am afraid that he is about to awaken the Zanpakuto, the strongest ice type. Hirenmaru, what a good knife. Too bad I didn't. But why can I feel Hitsugaya's spiritual network without spiritual power? The little boy Hitsugaya Toshiro bowed his head down and blamed himself. It's all because of me, why do I have such a strong spiritual power? In fact, he also vaguely felt the problem. It's just that he doesn't want to admit it, and he doesn't want to be separated from his relatives. Where is up? Lu Yu clenched his fists. God, why do I have no spiritual power? I also want a Zanpakuto that pulls the wind. It is said that there must be cheats for the transmigrators. Chapter 2. Children, don't frown all the time, they won't grow tall. In the yard, looking at the dejected look of the two little boys, Lu Yu opened his bow from left to right, and hit him with 2 direct hits. But the difference is that little boy Toshiro looked disgusted and avoided. Hinamori Momo, who has a peach face with 2 ponytails, squinted her eyes and looked like she was enjoying it. With a warm smile on Lu Yu's face, like the sunshine in March, it warms people's hearts. In this situation, he couldn't help thinking, I'm only one pair of square glasses away from a certain Asahi captain. And Bankai's hairspray hand. After the atmosphere calmed down, Hitsugaya Toshiro hesitated, but asked Lu Yu, do you think I should also go to Shinigami school? Lu Yu comforted Hitsugaya Toshiro by saying, no matter what choice you make, the old man will gladly agree. She doesn't care about herself, only you. Similarly, you place great importance on Grandma. Your Reiatsu will only get stronger and stronger. There will be no problem in a short time. After a long time, the old man will definitely not be able to bear it. How to choose, you already have the answer in your heart, you just don't want to accept it. This is what Lu Yu said very clearly. The old man is very willing to use his life in exchange for the company of his grandson. If Toshiro wants to leave, the old man will also sincerely bless him. If only Toshiro can live a better life, the elderly will be happy. This is the relative. This is family affection, total selflessness, Ishin giving. If Xiaobai wasn't his friend, Lu Yu wouldn't say these words. It was because he knew Xiaobai and cherished this friend that he said this. After listening to Lu Yu's words, Hitsugaya Toshiro finally no longer hesitated, firmed up his inner thoughts, and nodded, I will report to the Shinigami Academy in a few days. Xiaobai, you can definitely do it, and I will help you. Hinamori Momo, wearing a red and white school uniform, held by Shengsheng's small fist and cheered Toshiro. Xiaobai. Hitsugaya Toshiro rolled the dead fish's eyes, don't call me Xiaobai, and I'm a genius, so I don't need the bedwetting peach gang. I went to school earlier than you have to respect your seniors. Hinamori Momo admonished Hitsugaya Toshiro with a stern face. Looking at this scene, Lu Yu felt a warm current flowing in his heart. This kind of warm feeling dilutes the sense of loss of time travel and lack of spiritual power. Rukongai's life is not so boring. After making up his mind, Hitsugaya Toshiro went to accompany Grandma. The parting is imminent, and he has a lot of reluctance in his heart. Hinamori Momo pulled Lu Yu to talk about various interesting things about college life. The girl who had just entered school was very excited and kept chattering. Compared with the serious and capable vice captain of the future, Xiao Taozi is really different. Most of the time, Lu Yu just listened patiently, occasionally making a little comment. During the conversation, he gained a deeper understanding of the world and heard many familiar names. Before you know it, the memories of Shinigami and the maiden come alive and come to life. Those two-dimensional characters are finally no longer just paper people, but become living people, just like this enthusiastic and cheerful little cutie. Lu Yu fits into this world perfectly. The two sat and chatted comfortably under the veranda in the courtyard. The setting sun in the afternoon sprinkled golden sunlight on the two of them, stretching their shadows closer. This scene will be a memory for both of them forever. After saying goodbye to Hinamori Momo, who was still a little reluctant, Lu Yu returned to his residence. Looking at the figure of Lu Yu leaving, Hinamori Momo, who had just been smiling, thought a little in despair. If only brother Lu Yu had spiritual power, then everyone could go to school together as Shinigami and never have to be separated again. After returning home, Lu Yu was tossing and turning in bed. Suddenly crossing into such a world, if he can fall asleep, there will be a ghost. The world seems to be peaceful, but in fact it is divided into classes and extremely dangerous. Ordinary people like Lu Yu, who have no spiritual power, die a lot when they die, and they don't even have the qualifications to be cannon fodder. The predecessor worked hard every day just to stay in the safest West 1st District except Seraiti. If you are kicked out of this place, you will be swallowed alive by those emptiness in minutes. Not to mention, other areas are chaotic, killing people on the street is left unchecked. Rukongai and Seraiti are very close, only separated by a wall, but they are two worlds. The residents here and the Shinigami of Seraiti are also people of two worlds. Although Lu Yu has a good relationship with Hinamori Momo and Hitsugaya Toshiro now, they are not from the same world after all. Over time, it will eventually drift away. This is the reality of the Shinigami world. Without power, there is no self-preservation, and in the end there is nothing left. Lu Yu, who was lying on the bed, stretched out his right hand and shook it unwillingly. I really want to be Shinigami. At this moment, the midnight bell rang, and Lu Yu suddenly heard a ruthless electronic voice. Ding! A new day is coming, the Super Punch card system is on. Lu Yu was stunned for a moment, then ecstatic, my plugin is online. Goodness! Without thinking, he instinctively understood the usage of the system. The punch-in system, hence the name C, can punch in and sign in every day, and then get all kinds of incredible rewards. The prize levels are divided into white F level, blue E level, green D level, red C level, cyan B level, purple A level, golden S level, colorful SR level, god level SSR level, and the highest X level. Anyway, it's an onmyoji. What excites Lu Yu most is that these rewards are not limited to the Shinigami world, but cover all kinds of skills, bloodlines, treasures in various movies, animation and novels. For example, the Infinity Stones in Marvel, the Saiyan Blood in Dragon Ball, and the Chaos Bell in Red and Yellow. Any one of these rewards can make you walk sideways in the world of Shinigami. In addition, physical prizes can be temporarily stored in the punch card space in the system. Check-in at some special times, the rewards will become more generous, such as the first day of check-in, the 100th day of check-in. Moreover, high-intensity interaction with plot characters also has a chance to increase the reward level. The higher the intensity, the greater the chance. System, I want to punch in. After punching in with consciousness, Lu Yu rubbed his hands together excitedly. What will be the reward? I'm not greedy either, I'll just have some rewards such as the Ancient Holy Body, Kryptonian Bloodline, and Zizai Ji Gong. I can't think about it anymore, my saliva is drooling. The familiar electronic voice sounded again. Ding! Successful punch. Congratulations to host for obtaining the Blue Talent Summoning Body, check in for the first time, level up, the summoning body has evolved into a Golden Talent Super Spirit Physique. The first time you check in, the effect is doubled, and the host's golden talent is absolutely hidden. Lu Yu's first thought was, it's shipped, it's invincible. Chapter 3. With the distribution of system rewards, an extremely tyrannical Reiatsu erupted from Lu Yu. The golden aura turned into a condensed beam of light that was invisible to ordinary people, soaring into the sky, shocking countless experts with keen senses. In the next instant, this beam of light disappeared without a trace, as if it was swallowed by some bottomless black hole. At this moment, Lu Yu was clenching his fists and feeling the unimaginable power. Such a power of wood is really intoxicating. See, from today, I am also a person with spiritual power, I can do whatever I want. It's decided, I'm going to drink 2 glasses of Coke a day, sweetened. His self-confidence swelled like skyrocketing strength. I don't envy at all what ice type is the strongest Zanpakuto, what Kyoku Suigetsu, what mixed blood of 4 races. With this punch and system, I am directly invincible. When Lu Yu was very excited, he didn't know that his fleeting powerful Reiatsu made the whole Seraiti fry. Because it's just a fleeting Reiatsu outburst, only a few perceptive Shinigami can realize what's going on. The other Shinigami just felt a chill in their hearts, and then went back to business as usual. Shinigami, who was sleeping, was even more shocked, woke up from the dream, and then looked confused, not knowing what happened. Those with keen perception and a number of strong people can accurately sense the transparent and noble Reiatsu that seems to be aloof. It's just that they can't completely lock the specific location of the Reiatsu, only the approximate range. Because that Reiatsu was fleeting, and when they sensed it carefully, that strange but tyrannical Reiatsu had disappeared. If it was Shinigami at the rank of chief officer, he would even think it might be an illusion. However, the captain-level Shinigami did not think so. What an amazing Reiatsu! This strange Reiatsu is actually a captain, how is this possible? The captains and vice-captains were amazed, and at the same time, their hearts were tight. Among them, Hieraku Shunsui and Jashiro 13, several insiders, even thought of the mask rebellion that just passed. Considering several of the doubtful points, several people's hearts added several worries. Although the captains of the other squads did not think so far, the expressions on their faces were not good-looking. It's no small matter that a strange captain-level Reiatsu suddenly appears near Seraiti, and then suddenly disappears. Fortunately, it was clearly Shinigami's power, not some Manos Grande invasion, so it wouldn't cause a big mess. You know, captain-level masters are not cabbage in the entire Soul Society. How can you allow others to sleep soundly under the couch? It would be better if it were somewhere far away from Seraiti like the 80s. It doesn't matter if there are a few unknown powerhouses out there, anyway, it can't affect the safety of the nobles. But not one area, it's too close. If it were not for the safety and comfort of the nobles, the first few districts of the 4 parts of Rukongai would not have good security. You know, Seraiti is home to the family members of the 4 great nobles and Shinigami. Even a group of amazing captains must put Seraiti's safety first. As for the residents of Rukongai, if it sounds good, they are called residents, but if they are bad, they are weeds and wild dogs. The residents of District 1 are still living like individuals, and the area behind the 70s is a complete hell, free to live, and random to die. Like Zaraki Kenpachi, the ruthless captain of the current 11th team, from the Zaraki district of the 80 district. This is the living Yama, who came all the way, and is more like a virtual than Shinigami. Anyway, the 80th district is fine no matter how messy it is. The 1st district and Seraiti can't be messed up at all, not even Yaxing who has swept away the nobles. Now, such a powerful person has touched the West District 1 silently, and they haven't noticed it at all. This can be said to be a major safety accident. No matter what, the 2nd Division and the 12th Division need to give them an explanation. But not all captains think so. Shiba Isshin, the captain of the 10th Division, said that this person has a great Reiatsu atmosphere, so he must not be a bad guy, so don't make a fuss. Therefore, he stayed in the team building and did not act. The beast like Zaraki Kenpachi was murderous, and carrying Zanpakuto, he was about to find someone to open the film. Little ones, no matter what the background of this person is, we just need to fight happily. A little disturbance, not worth mentioning. Byakuya Kuchiki with a cold face quietly looked at the full moon in the sky, thinking of the person he would never see in his heart. Inside the 5th Division team building, a middle-aged man wearing square glasses who looked like a teacher was writing something at his desk. This person is the captain of the 5th Division, Aizen Sosuke, a well-known old man of Seraiti, who is deeply loved and admired by all Shinigami. The moment he felt the inexplicable Reiatsu, Aizen's body trembled slightly, and the tip of the pen in his hand trembled. Immediately, he gently picked up the rice paper and looked at it. Looking at the almost perfect work, Aizen shook his head. After all, there is still a little flaw. The so-called accident is just a lack of ability, and it is not perfect. Yin, it's not a good habit to come uninvited like this. Without looking back, Aizen Reiatsu moved, and the rice paper in his hand was completely shattered into a spiritual child. In the dark part of the room, a squinted silver-haired man with a fake smile came out. Ah. Did I knock on the door? Maybe I was surprised by Reiatsu just now, sorry. Could it be that the captain's old acquaintance is back? After apologizing insincerely, Ichimaru Jin looked at Aizen meaningfully. The more you get in touch with this captain, the more you can feel the unfathomable strength. Now he has understood that he has no chance of winning if he confronts him head-on. If you want to complete the plot, you can only rely on the advantages of intelligence and information. Therefore, Ichimaru Jin does not miss any opportunity to test out Aizen's details. It's just that this scale must be grasped very delicately, and he is not afraid of Aizen's attempts to discover himself. He's just worried that his acting is too clumsy and will tire this guy out. It doesn't matter whether it is or not. The important thing is that we don't deviate from our plan. A mere captain level, Aizen didn't take it to heart. He is also not afraid of variables and unknown challenges. Otherwise, Aizen wouldn't have kept the Lion Majesty, Ichimaru Jin, by his side. In the end, only the god standing in the sky can control everything. In this regard, Aizen is convinced. I see, I'll keep an eye on what's going on over there. Ichimaru Jin didn't keep trying, that would be too stupid. At critical moments, he must show the corresponding value. A Shunpo left the 5th Division team building, and the silver-haired Ichimaru Jin looked up at the direction of the West 1st District. No matter who you are, as long as Captain Aizen notices you, you can only stop here. I just wish you could hold me a little longer, preferably to get me one step closer to that Kyoku Suigetsu. Chapter 4. Find that little bug for me, right away, right away. The small face of the 2nd Division captain, the slap-sized bee, was covered in frost. As the commander-in-chief of the secret mobile unit and the commander of the Qing army, she has the functions of supervision, assassination and execution. Great power and no small responsibility. In the West 1st District so close to Seraiti, a captain-level figure appeared. That in itself was her dereliction of duty. Former god, Omaeda Marekio grumbled, how could the little bug have a captain-level Reiatsu? In the second team, black work is indispensable. It's just a life of death, and no one wants to do it. Ha! Broken Bee's pretty face froze, and she gave Omaeda Marekio a fierce sting. After being stared at by the two ice blade-like cold lights, Deputy Captain Omaeda lowered his head and did not dare to say anything. In addition to Xingjun, some overt or dark figures also began to act. These people rushed towards the West 1st District where Lu Yu was. Among them was a monk with long, narrow eyes and a bright head, who was Madarame Makaku, the 3rd seat of the 11th Division. No way, their captain suddenly said halfway, this person is too good at hiding, he has no feeling at all, it's just a waste of time to find it, so he went back. Madarame Makaku, who is full of fighting spirit, will not be absent as long as there is a fight, and he comes here with high spirits. He was very disliked by the Xingjun personnel in the dark and the spies of the 12th Division. There is no blood at all, just throwing cold arrows behind and relying on external forces, this fight is not interesting at all. At this time, in order to find the hidden unknown, Captain Level, Master, Shinigami of the 12th Division used various instruments. The Lingbo Survey Research Department has even maximized the monitoring of this place. Vice Captain Ah Jin personally came to debug various exploration instruments. It stands to reason that with such a big commotion, it is impossible to completely hide Reiatsu no matter what. Even if you hide it with all your strength, there will be some leakage and legacy of spiritual child fluctuations. In this way, some clues can be detected with the help of the instrument, and the location of the unknown Reiatsu source can be pinpointed by following the clues. This was originally the specialty of the 12th Division, except for the Mask Rebellion, it never missed. That's because after Hollow, the Reiatsu of those people were completely different and difficult to track. It's just that this time, even though the most advanced technology of the Technology Development Bureau was used, there was still no trace of the source of Reiatsu. This sudden appearance of Reiatsu also disappeared suddenly, leaving no trace, as if it never existed. On the other hand, the Xingjun master who had tried bailing was helpless this time and returned without success. After a while of chicken flying and dogs jumping, all the masters could only return empty-handed. Except for the vice-captain of the 6th Division, Matsumoto Rengaku, who, in the name of work, actually sneaked out to fish. After a few people left, she came to a familiar restaurant for a big drink and shouted happily. This restaurant is not far from the home of Hitsugaya Toshiro and Liu Yu. Of course, near here, a Shinigami with short silver and white hair was walking quietly and slowly, looking for something. It's just that his attention was always on the restaurant with a little golden color. Faced with this result, the surprise in the hearts of several captains deepened. What kind of monster is it, such a monster? The elite strength of several squads has been assembled, but there is no trace of it. When did such a powerful character appear in this small West 1st District? Could it be that this is really a follow-up to the last incident? Is that man really doing the trick? Are we looking away? Even if this matter has nothing to do with the mask incident, it is very difficult for a captain-level master to emerge for no reason. What's more, it's so close to Seraiti. Hey, headache. Kyoraku Shunsui and Jashiro, who had been paying attention to Aizen's movements since Reiatsu appeared, were a little hesitant in their hearts. The eyes of several other bigwigs looking towards Rukongai in the 1st West District also became serious. In particular, the Captain Broken Bee of the 2nd Division had a fierce cold light flashing in his eyes. She was sure that this was not done by one person, that someone must have cleaned up the traces of it, and even suspected that someone was eating the food of Team 13 and smashing Seraiti's pot. Thinking of this, Broken Bee's eyes swept across each team building and the residences of the 5 nobles. Another traitor among us. Let me know if any of you have anything to do with that bastard, and I'll make you feel the pain. While the several captains were suspicious of each other, Liu Yu was looking at the 2 Jin Wangwang's level talents in the Sea of Knowledge and smirked. The punch card system is very considerate to digitize the talent, so that he can clearly recognize the genius of the talent. Super Spirit Body, Golden S level talent, Superhuman Spirit Body, powerful talent, born with a captain level Reiatsu. Absolutely hidden, Golden S rank talent, passive talent, breath, Reiatsu are hidden and can change freely, like a ghost. Comfortable, totally comfortable, feeling the tyrannical Reiatsu power of his body, and remembering the empty body before, Liu Yu laughed, thief ha ha ha. Humans' dreams will never end. Shinigami's fight is Reiatsu's fight. In the Shinigami world, Reiatsu is strong enough to do whatever he wants. As long as Reiatsu is strong enough, no attack or ability can be used. With a captain-level Reiatsu, at least Liu Yu can be guaranteed to have an officer-level combat power. Shinigami at the senior level, even if he has some pervert Zanpakuto ability, but in the case of Reiatsu's crushing, he may not be able to break Liu Yu's defense. If it weren't for the disgusting 5 nobles and the ambitious Aizen Sosuke, Liu Yu would have wanted to go straight to the showdown. The showdown is over. Laozi is the first genius of the Soul Society, and the Spirit King has to step aside. However, Liu Yu did not completely stone Lezi in the end. He is very clear, not to mention that his strength is far from the captain's level. Even if he reaches the captain's level, in the eyes of some people, it is still an ant. Also at the captain level, it is so vulnerable. Liu Yu didn't want to be nailed to the shame column of captain's shame, like some big dog. Black coffin is forever. Fortunately, Liu Yu not only has great potential, he also has the god-level ability to obtain old silver coins. Reiatsu's breath is like a person's fingerprint, DNA, which cannot be changed or repeated. This is the common sense of Soul Society. However, this common sense did not take effect on Liu Yu, who had absolute concealment. He can change his Reiatsu aura freely. And unless Reiatsu is bursting out with full force or deliberately revealed, Reiatsu's aura is almost undisturbed. Combined with the super spiritual body's innate super controlling power, Liu Yu is a personal variety monster. With this talent, even the captain of the 4-eyed boy who is Go Dao Dacheng would have to drink his own foot-washing water. Chapter 5. To be honest, when Liu Yu saw the moment of absolute concealment, he felt that this was the standard skill of the second team. Tet is a professional counterpart. This kind of ability is really suitable for Xingjun. At first glance, it is God level 6, which is really suitable for lurking and assassination. It is a must-have at home, and it is the best skill for killing and looting. If you can't get along by yourself, you can consider hugging Broken Bee's thigh. This is also the ability that those behind the scenes dream of, because they can change their breath and change a dozen vests in minutes. A calm office worker with a pink octopus head expresses greed and crying. Of course, if it is revealed that this is a bug talent, and there is no tyrannical strength, Lu Yu will definitely be missed by the 12th Division, Aizen, and the 5 Nobles. At that time, maybe there will be a performance of 3 families. Therefore, Lu Yu chose to dormant for a while, and joined Hitsugaya Toshiro to take the test at the True Spiritual Academy. Then develop silently, and wait until the group of disgusting things like Aizen and Central 46 bite the dog, and then jump out to amaze everyone. Over the next few days, Lu Yu became more and more certain that he had made the right choice. I thought that I had clocked in the double golden S level talent on the first day, and no matter how bad it was later, I had to start at B level. Sawada Tsuneyoshi's belt, the original Fat Times of the Empress Hancock, Konoha Shaoli's youth battle suit, Black Widow Natasha's 3-handed bath water. These check-in rewards made Lu Yu's scalp tingle. What are these? I'm torn. What do you mean by giving me the whole third-hand bath water? If it's second-hand, I can still. Bah, what are you thinking? Lousy is not named due. It seems that it is absolutely impossible to think blindly. You must actively participate in the plot and have a lot of high-intensity interactions with famous characters in the original work. Otherwise, this is the reward, let alone standing in the sky, lying on the ground and eating dirt will not be my pit. This Spiritual Arts Academy, I really decided to go. If you don't go, you can't do it. There are monsters everywhere in the later stage, and the captain is not as good as a dog. If you don't go, Lu Yu really doesn't have the confidence to go on. Moreover, with a super punch-in system, he didn't need to lie flat. This wave is a super late stage, or the kind that can grow rapidly, and it can be carried with a little development. Besides, I finally came here. If I didn't interact with the beautiful girls in the original work, wouldn't it be in vain? While thinking, Lu Yu came to Hitsugaya Toshiro's house again. On the one hand, he cared more about the old man, who helped a lot when his predecessor first arrived. This kindness, Lu Yu still has to remember. If you can't help others and act bravely when you can, then your life will not be in vain. Isn't the 9-year compulsory education learned in the belly of a dog? Wouldn't that be cheaper than the big dog, the captain of the 7th Division? On the other hand, Lu Yu can motivate Xiaobai by the way, and it's a little bit more interactive, maybe it will explode. In the blink of an eye, 6 days have passed, and the rewards for these 2 days are still as bad as ever, all white F grades. So bad that Lu Yu can only keep it forever. Of course, some of them are destined to never see the light of day, and some of them are in the favorites, the kind of collection that can be reminiscent of nothing. When the 7th day came, Hinamori Momo happily came to announce the good news, and the above agreed to the request and organized a test specially for Hitsugaya Toshiro. After reluctantly saying goodbye to the old man, Lu Yu and Hitsugaya Toshiro followed Hinamori Momo to Seraiti. Before that, Lu Yu also saw the wall composed of murderous stones and the great hero Saidanfang guarding the gate. This murderous stone is a good thing, and the invisible waves it releases can completely block Reiki and Reiatsu, which is extremely rare. An invisible barrier made of murderous stones firmly guards the entire Seraiti. There are 4 gates, Beidao, Qingliu, Hailing and Zua, on the west, east, north and south walls respectively. Access to Seraiti is only possible through these 4 gates. Of course, if you're related to the Shiba family, that's another story. Each gate is guarded by the current heroes of Rukongai. From west to south, they are Yuanbansi Danfang, Weiwei, Duanzumaoan and Biju Entrance Road. These 4 people were carefully selected, and their strength and character were all excellent. The 4 of them were responsible for the expulsion of civilians as well as for the incursion. Among them, the 3 Lu Yu entered Seraiti through the Beidamin in the west. Under normal circumstances, civilians are not allowed to enter the walls. There are 2 worlds separated by a wall. These 4 walls are like the dividing line between commoners and nobles, like an invisible gulf that is difficult to cross. Led by Xiao Taozi, a top student from Spiritual Arts Academy, Lu Yu and the 3 of them were naturally unimpeded. Thank you, Saidanfang uncle. After the three passed, Hinamori Momo politely greeted Sidanfang. Hearing Hinamori Momo's sweet greeting, Sidanfang smiled and touched his head in response. Little Peach is our pride, come on. Hitsugaya Toshiro looked up at the incomparably tall Sidanfang and pouted. Cut, sour, sore neck. Looking at the murderous wall that slowly rose and fell, and finally disappeared completely, Luyu came up with a good idea. This wall and gate should be able to sell for a lot of money if there is a chance to tear it down. The dowry money isn't there anymore. It's amazing. I was shocked the first time I saw it. Hinamori Momo was excited to act as a qualified tour guide. She saw Luyu's eyes on Betaimin and the nearby walls for a while, and thought she was also shocked. In response, Luyu just laughed. On the other hand, although Hitsugaya Toshiro didn't say anything, there was a bit of shock in his expression. Even a talented young man, after all, still has a little less accumulation. Because of this, Hitsugaya Toshiro, who was the captain of the 10th Division, suffered a lot in the subsequent battles. After passing the Betaimin, the three Luyu officially came to Seraiti. This is the political and military headquarters of Shinigami, and there are ruling institutions such as the Central Underground Conference Hall, and the 13th Division of the Gotei Division, in key areas. Among them, Central 46, which represents the nobles, has the supreme authority and can command the Shinigami of each team. At the same time, Seraiti is also where all the Shinigami live. At the very center is the mansion of the nobles, who have lived here for generations. However, Luyu was not too cold about the 5 celestial dragons, and could even be said to be very disgusted. While thinking about it, Luyu looked up and saw tall trees and green mountains and rivers everywhere. Well, the greening is good, the green grass is shady, and the environment is quiet, which is very suitable for old age. Just by feeling the thriving vitality in the air, you can know that the concentration of spiritual energy here is much higher than that of Rukongai. In addition, the entrance is full of the kind of strict and magnificent old-fashioned wood and stone buildings. The appearance is basically pure white, with few exceptions. At first glance, it is very spectacular and amazing, and after watching it for a long time, Luyu wants to yawn. If it weren't for improving strength and a few Shinigami girls, who would want to spend time in this Seraiti and enjoy the happiness in this world. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe.